Hello and welcome to another edition of Video Games to the Max. I'm your host, Sean Garmer, here with me, as usual, Mr. Mark Morrison.
Howdy.
Well, again, if you didn't join us last week, this is the normal time that we're going to be doing the episode around 5-ish, 6-ish there. We would have started on time, but I discovered that my Facebook apparently got banned by Facebook for some reason. So that kind of delayed stuff. But who cares? We're here. We're going to be talking about all the the three main showcases because I don't know what else Mark watched. I watched Day of the Devs, and I think that's about and like half of the feature games one. And yeah, did you watch any other ones?
No.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about the three big ones:
Yeah.
Xbox, Ubisoft, and Summer Game Fest. And
I
then
thought you
we'll
were going
go
to say the
from there.
Devolver one.
Yeah. The Devolver one, I forgot to rewatch it because I was rewatching it sort of on like half mute and half not, and it just made me laugh most of the time. The games were like went by so quick as they normally do. So,
Right.
but yeah, we'll get to that and all of this stuff. So let's just discuss all these things right after this.
You are listening to Video Games to the Max.
All right. Well, just in case your first time watching or listening, we do the show live on Mondays in the afternoon time. You can watch it live on YouTube, on Twitch, on Facebook, Twitter. That's W2 Network everywhere. On my Twitter, W2 Sean. And at some point, if my Facebook starts working again, uh, me on Facebook. And then, yes, if you watch live, go hit subscribe, all that stuff that you do on YouTube, especially because that helps us. Not only do you get what we do here, Video Games to the Max, every time we do an episode, but you also get the other stuff that's part of the channel. We have an awesome anime show, Otaku Cafe, that they do everything that has to do with like the new anime that comes out every season. They cover a lot of those, and obviously the returning ones that a lot of people watch. All the known ones. They will watch those as well. So if you're into big time in anime, go watch their stuff. Go listen to it. That's Otaku Cafe on the podcast. And then on the movies and entertainment side, we got the Rowlager Broadcasting folks. They do everything that has to do with like TV, movies, all that stuff. They do a great job keeping up with it. They just did a Garfield movie review. So that's up there. If you want to watch that, they've been keeping up with Sons of Anarchy. They've been doing that. They've do everything, even boxing, all that. So they just did the one on X-Men 97, which I know a lot of y'all enjoy as well. So go check all that out. Subscribe on YouTube to get what we do there. And of course, they're on podcast there too. So yeah, aside from that, I think we can go ahead and mosey along here. We're going to start in recent order with Ubisoft and go backwards and do Summer Game Fest and Xbox and whatever else we may have watched in that time frame. Ubisoft started off strong with Orchestra for Star Wars Outlaws, then showed off Star Wars Outlaws a bunch of stuff. Then kind of meandered in the middle, and then went with Assassin's Creed Shadows to end it. What do you think about generally about that whole Ubisoft forward thing?
I mean, it was fine, I guess, but there was a lot of known quantities, and the stuff that people still want to see still wasn't shown.
Yeah, I mean the long-awaited stuff, right? Like no Beyond Good and Evil 2, no some
Splinter
of
Cell.
no Splinter Cell, which people have been like really, really wanting to see. Crazy that we still don't have anything on
Right.
Splinter Cell at all.
Yeah.
Star Wars Outlaws looked great. I mean, good to know what we're finally going to be doing in that game. It feels like, because they've kind of been teasing it. They even teased something at Summer Game Fest, letting you know that they're going to be doing more here.
Right.
Did you get more excited about the game after watching that, or?
Not until we can get a new new non-80s hairstyle, but it looked fun. You know,
Why
it's
is that matters? I guess.
because I don't feel like playing Christy McNichol from Empty Nest in a video game from the late '80s. No, I'm sure. Believe me, I'm sure this game is going to have a ton of customizable options, like like every Ubisoft game in existence nowadays. Uh, you know, I like that it has like ship combat. I don't, who knows if it'll good or not, but at least
Yeah,
it has
I
it.
saw a lot of look. This even does stuff Starfield should be doing, like landing your ship and
Right, or
all that.
being fun.
Yeah, I mean,
uh, so yeah, it looks okay. We'll see. I mean, I'm the guy who kind of burned out on Star Wars, so
yeah, I watched, I think, part of the first episode of Acolyte. I meant to watch more of it, and then I didn't go back to it. No, I like the how the using the like land runner also
yeah,
to like get in and out of missions really fast if you need to, and how they're gonna involve all this stuff. Eventually, the Empire gets involved, as you would imagine. So yeah, it's gonna be fun stuff. I'm excited. I'm always down for more Star Wars stuff.
right.
So, and this has been good from the beginning, like getting that kind of Han Solo type character, and they kind of seem to make allusions to him, like in part of this as well. Like, are you eventually going to go be searching for him or something? It's like, so let's see if that's the big crux of this, or whatever that they're doing. But yeah, this looks good. I'm down with whatever they want to keep showing us for Star Wars Outlaws. It's crazy to think at the end of the summer we'll finally be playing this thing.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, this is kind of the big thing that they have. I think that is different because, as we've said about Assassin's Creed, Ghost of Tsushima already did a lot of that already.
right. Yeah, and even like looking at some of the footage they showed, it's like, yep, this looks a lot like that game.
Yeah, exactly. And then it just felt like a lot of the middle stuff was like, okay, we're just going to show you all of the games that we already have out.
Right. It's
And
like, yeah,
yeah,
here's more stuff for X Defiant or Skull and Bones because that's what everyone's been talking about now these days.
yeah, it's crazy to me that I think the only new game that they announced was an Anno game out of
That's the
this
big one,
entire
obviously.
thing. And yeah, I was just like, wow. I'm just really surprised they didn't have like the and one more thing or nothing. It was just like, okay, that's it.
I I'm
That's all
shocked
we're doing.
they're still supporting Brawlhalla. I was like, I thought that died years ago.
That that I mean that's you. So they support everything until it's done. They did show that they are doing Persia remake still.
Yeah,
2020. Is that officially the first 2026 game that we've seen? Like that's nuts to me. They're like showing games that are going to come in 2026. It's like
not necessarily.
we're
Not necessarily.
shocked to get games in 2025, but you
Right.
know,
Well, yeah, but now you think about it, it's only a year away now. So
well, depending on when that comes out, it could technically be 2 years away still, sort of.
right.
But yeah, I mean, the Lost Crown gets more stuff, which the people that I'm sure more folks have picked that up since it went on sale, and then the Rogue
Yeah.
Prince of Persia as well is getting more stuff.
Well, that one needs more stuff.
Yeah, Yeah, I know 117 packs for Mana, I think, was the only thing that they announced. Real time strategy stuff between all the big ones. That seems to be something that's, I guess, making a comeback of being super important between all three of the big showcases. They really definitely showed lots of that for
Yeah, but
sure.
Anna's a little like slightly more of like an economics game as well. So
Right.
you know, it has its fans.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. We'll see. X Defiant seems to have some fandom. We'll see how long that lasts for Ubisoft there.
right
And then, of
until
course,
November.
yeah, so November, and then when Call of Duty comes out, that'll probably be a bit there. Then you have the last thing was Assassin's Creed Shadows. They showed a lot of the Yashui gameplay there as well, like getting to see how he is as a character and all that stuff. Like just kind of showing you, okay, well, people are complaining about why he's in this game and it's not historically correct and all this stuff. And at least they're coming to that and not just kind of trying to shoo him away and be like, okay, well, you'll play him when you play the game. So that's I mean, do you like this kind of having the stealth shadow ninja type and then having him the power guy?
It kind of makes sense because like that was a problem of I can't the Victorian England one. I forget the fuck name of it. Syndicate. Like both characters played the same.
Syndicate.
So it's like okay, yeah. So it's like why play one? It's like okay, just pick one and stick with them or stick with her. Like having missions or having side jobs or whatever. That's like okay, you're supposed to be the stealthy character, so be the girl. And it goes back to like a Tenchu Stealth Assassin. Like that's exactly what that game was.
Right.
So it's fine.
Yeah. At least it lets you see what it's going to be like to explore through parts of it and all that.
Right.
But it won't be too long before you get to play the game. So,
yep.
Yeah, it looks good. I'm sure. I'm sure you will still, because you have to play everything Assassin's Creed. I'm sure you will still be playing it.
I mean, I don't play every one of them, but I play most of them. So hopefully we'll get it for review.
Hopefully it'll jazz you up more than Mirage did. So, at least for that. But yeah, Ubisoft was kind of just, I don't know, kind of meh.
Yeah.
It's like, all right.
Then again, that encapsulates Ubisoft in general. So
I will give Ubisoft credit. Like, they don't need to show us any more games that are like, who knows how long from here out. They already have that problem where,
but
like
I mean,
said, there's.
Yeah, but that's it's a twofold problem because it's like okay, you shouldn't show games that are that far out, but also you should have a better reign on game. Beyond Good and Evil 2 shouldn't be taking 13 years to make, or that Prince of Persia remake shouldn't have taken 7 years to make, or it's like
I think that's just them basically saying we restarted the whole thing, and it'll be out in 2026.
If that's the case, they should just be honest, and say, hey, we worked on this from 2020 to 2022, and then it wasn't going anywhere, so we flushed it and started anew. Like, at least I'd be honest, because how God knows how many internal reboots like Beyond Good and Evil 2 has gone through. Like, is Joseph Gordon-Levitt still working in that game? Yes or no? These are the big questions that need to be asked.
I'm just surprised that they haven't said anything about other than the whole, just to give people updates on these games. Like, hey, yeah, we're still working on it. We don't really have anything to show, but here's this.
Or I mean, it's also a problem if like people aren't excited for like Ubisoft games that much.
Mm-hmm.
So they should just be honest and say, hey, here's a new Splinter Cell. It's still pre-alpha or like very early on. but here's a logo, or here's what Sam Fisher's going to look like.
Right.
You know, expect more info in 2027.
Yeah,
when he,
exactly.
when he show,
2027. Holy crap. That feels like so far away. No, but honestly, that is true. Definitely give us updates, and at least they showed some stuff from Avatar, I guess, which is their most like popular game outside of Star Wars and Assassin's Creed coming. So yeah, that'll get them going for now. I think Mark froze. It looks like so. For now, I'm just going to. I don't know if I have to re-invite him or what I got to do here. Hello. Oh, I guess I lost him here for a little bit until he comes back. So I'll go ahead and move on to the Summer Game Fest. He has the link, so I think he should be able to. Randy's like, here's an announcement of a future announcement. Now, please stop talking about Sam Fisher until we're ready to talk about Sam Fisher. He's not wrong about that, honestly. So I'm gonna move. Mark has the link, so he should be able to just hit the same button and get back in. Hopefully, it's probably something with his camera because mine's been doing that very recently as well, where it's kind of like weird and not. Sometimes it'll just blank randomly go out. So let's move on to Summer Game Fest, which very surprising, and I'm excited to hear what happens when we get to the Game Awards. This kind of gives me some good vibes about, is Geoff Keighley finally turning the corner on some of these? He seems to learn every year when it comes to these. Like he's taking feedback, and it feels like this one he finally got all the feedback and said, "Hey, let's actually do what people are asking, which is let's have different hosts. Let's let the devs, at least some of the devs, like have a moment." He had the Outer Sloth. When they did the Outer Sloth moment, they had a Victoria Tran go up there and one of the devs and talk about it. It wasn't just him show a trailer, him again, and show a trailer. Like he actually had Curious Joy up there doing fighting game stuff and also other things that weren't fighting games as well. So that was really cool to see that like Geoff's kind of branching out and not just focusing all about himself. That's good. These showcases should be about not just the games, but the people that make them as well. And he made that a point. He also talked about the industry, which is different. He's not talked about the industry at all most of the time. He seems to ignore the layoffs and all that stuff. He talked about that on this thing, which is also good. I think I agree with some folks that have been saying that he probably should have prefaced this by saying this is probably not as crazy front-loaded as it has been in the past. So don't expect anything ridiculous or anything like out of the realm that you kind of don't know is coming soon, because that's kind of what this was. A lot of it was very heavy indie on this show, and I think folks were kind of expecting a little bit more than that on this. So yeah, it's definitely one of those where let's talk about that. But the one game that Mark and I talked about that was kind of rumored once again, this Biblicoon leaker has been proven correct. Lego Horizon is a thing, and that was the lead off to this thing. It actually was a different game than I thought it was going to be. They didn't just cover everything that you would expect in a Lego game. It kind of felt like they tried to make it its own thing, injected a bunch of levity that, is usually not in the Horizon games. Going to be interesting how they do the boss fights for the most part, because that is a big deal in the Horizon games. So yeah, man, I don't know, but I liked what I saw. It's one of those things with the Lego games where I don't go out and buy them necessarily. They're still very kid oriented, to be fair. So I'm sure if you have your kids there with you, you will go and probably buy that. And if you like that stuff, then sure, go ahead. It's just one of those where like, okay, when it comes to Game Pass or something like that, it's usually when I go and check that out, really. But yeah, it had a good showing, I thought. And for like the fact that Sony put that out there, and then it's also going to come to the Switch, like, yo, like, okay. I mean, they obviously took the jab at Xbox there of like, it's definitely not coming there, but it's coming at least to everything else, right? So get excited about that. Um, oh, Mark is back.
Yeah,
What happened?
it just dies like halfway through, or
Your computer died? What the?
No, not my computer. It's my internet.
Oh, your internet died. Okay,
It would be fine if it was like, oh, it's storming out here, or big rain, something. But no, it's sunny,
right.
like regular, nice day.
Well, I just started the summer game. What did you think about, I guess, the show in general? Before we
I thought it
like
was
got into
fine.
some of the.
I think the host, the guest host or whatever, wasn't great, but they very infrequently are. Uh, you know, yeah.
Yeah, like I had said before you
Cut out.
started, I'm gonna disagree with you on the Curious Joy. I thought for kind of just being put up there in a spot where it's like it's not Sydney doing Game Awards and she's very, she knows what she's doing and
I mean, I don't know who.
yeah.
That's the problem is I don't know who that Curious Joy person is. So they put her up there, and I'm like, okay, like,
Yeah,
sure.
I mean she's big in the fighting game,
Okay. I
all
mean,
that stuff.
what? Let me ask you this: I mean, we'll probably go into it when you start getting further into it. But what was like your game of that thing, or do you have one?
I really got to think because I know I had a couple. The flying bean one was actually probably one of the highlights, to be honest. Like this wasn't. It was really kind of like I said. It was like a lot of big, heavy indie focus, except for towards the beginning, and then the rest of it was not. The thing that you usually expect with this. What did you? Do you have like a game of the show
Yeah,
or?
for the Summer Games Fest, it is that Power Ranger game.
Yeah, the Power Ranger game was awesome. I will agree with that. Of course, getting more Metaphor Refantasio. I'm excited for that game. So, yeah,
Having a, I mean, I can't pre-order it right at the moment, but having an Alan Wake 2 physical and like DLC is kind of cool.
fine. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that that's happening because a lot of people didn't buy that game because of that. So, I'm glad that he got to go on there and we did get that Quidditch Champions game, and it's coming out this year of all things.
Yep.
Um,
How can it beat the PS1 game? That's the big question.
it'll do it. It'll do it.
Also, it's nice to see Civ 7. That's the one where Aerith dies, right?
That's the one.
I gotta say,
Yeah.
like that Batman VR thing looked abysmal. Holy
The only
shit!
thing with the Batman VR thing is you could literally hear the crowd just the shush over everyone
Well,
when
I mean,
you're announcing
it's
that it's on VR. Like
that's one problem, but it's also
yeah.
like, oh, here's the big bad guy of this game, the rat catcher. It's like,
Yes.
what was a Condiment King too high profile? Like you have to go for this like Z tier list fucking villain. Like,
well,
come
the
on.
problem is I think if you put in one of the big villains, people are going to complain more, right? That you have one of the big villains in a VR game that a lot of people are not going to be able to play at all. So why not just test the water and see?
You know what they should do is have like have Riddler be the bad guy, and that would be like a puzzle game.
Yeah, I mean, they could do that. They could have done a Joker one. It's not like we haven't had Joker in a million of things. I mean, they could have done.
But the Joker's dead in continuity.
Right. I mean, they could have done Scarecrow and made it more of a kind
horror
of, I guess,
game.
a scare game. Yeah, horror game or scary game. Another one that I've been keeping track of because I love Grease was Neva. And this looked great. Obviously, it keeps looking great. The art style is amazing for this stuff, and so like they showed it off really well. I love the fact that they keep showing this, and we get more of it, and it's coming this year. So yeah, lots of there was. I was quite surprised with how much like 2025 stuff there was. It's funny how like. Geoff kept saying, "Oh, most of the stuff I've shown is 2024." It's like, not really. Like,
well, he showed a lot of like DLC. So it's like, okay,
yeah,
Street Fighter 6 came out last year, but you're showing content. You know, maybe it'll come out this year, but not all.
Did you like how they did that? Because it felt like they were trying to tell you at first. I'll agree with the folks over at Kind of Funny that I thought it was going to be Capcom versus SNK or something. And then, oh no, this is just season 2, and then like 3 of the characters are from Fatal Fury or whatever. And it's like, okay, this is interesting how we did this.
Yeah, I mean, they might be just trying to test the waters, but I mean, at least 2 of those characters are important to Fatal Fury. The other one, no.
Yeah. Hey, you got your Civ 7.
Yep.
Reveal. And Sid Meier got to go out there and
a videotape and a video from the lobby of Firaxis.
Well, at least he was on there, you know. That's something.
He should have been like, oh, I got this other old guy helping me, and then he like pulled the curtain and it's Will Wright. Then the audience would have exploded.
It's like, no, can't see me in this thing. One of the things I think was probably the, I guess, biggest surprise was the Blumhouse games. Like, just, it's not just one game that we're doing. It's like a whole big smorgasbord of games that we're doing.
I mean, next year, let's be like the Blumhouse convention. You know, they have films and games, and they'll have some band or something, horrorcore band, and you know, I don't know. Those games they didn't look like AAA games, but they're not going for that.
They're obviously all indie
going for
stuff.
Yeah, and at least 1 or 2 of them look kind of interesting. I mean, I doubt I'll play them, but sure, why not?
Like, I like the one that they showed at the Day of the Devs. That looked great. So,
like supporting, like, you know, not, I wouldn't even say B tier, but like C tier, or you know, like those very indie games is generally a good thing.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, I mean, horror games in the indie sphere have been doing awesome. So why not kind of throw your hat in the ring and just go, all right.
The other
game, go ahead.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I don't know the guy who did the trailer, but that everything they showed about Skate looked embarrassing as fuck.
Oh, Skate so bad.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not what I want to hear about when I hear about Skate, but sure. All right.
Right.
It's like, why? I mean, like, they have to know, right? Like, they have to know what people expect when you tell me we're doing a Skate game, and that was not it.
I don't know. EA seems pretty clueless about what people want anymore. So,
well, we'll get more into EA when we got to talk about Xbox. But a game that actually surprised me because I did not care for the first game at all. But yo, that trailer for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 almost sold me on the, like, just how freaking crazy it is. Like, that's not what I was expecting at all from that game. So I was just like, okay, we just took it all up a notch of just, we're going to kick everybody's ass and be just dirty and say random shit. And it's like, all right, that just works, I guess.
Yeah.
So the first game did not have that vibe at all. It was
Right.
like really serious. We're trying to be almost like a medieval simulator kind of game or whatever. And like this game just was like, you know what? Let's just do it the total opposite. So kudos
There's
to
another
them
game.
for that.
There's another game on the in another conference that did the same thing, only not as well.
Yeah, for sure. On that, I agree. Um, anything else that I guess stood out to you from Summer Game
Not really.
Fest?
It seemed fine. Mostly some good stuff. Uh, yeah. I mean, I was like I said, the game that jumped up to me, at least from the Games Fest, was that Power Ranger thing.
Yeah, the
So
Power Rangers was cool, and the fact that they're not just doing the side-scrolling beat 'em up too, like
yeah,
there's other genres in
yeah,
there.
all that first person stuff, and then again the vehicle stuff, and they had a very sly Green Ranger or a green roller coaster car, like in one of the shots. It's like, okay, I know what you're doing.
Yeah, no, definitely. They went for it there, and I agree with
The,
that.
the only thing, I mean, they're probably gonna do some big collector's edition, which will be fine, but they should really try to get the voice cast back for that game, or from the TV show as much as they can, because aside
The
from
original,
Trini, yeah, and aside from Trini and Jason and Tommy,
right?
uh,
Yeah,
but you got three actors who are still alive and still legal or not in jail at the moment. So
yeah. Well, I mean, I guess they could, but I don't know if
yeah,
they're gonna try to just steer clear from having all the original voice cast or not, just to not make the game cost more. But yeah, I immediately had Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis vibes when I saw the game, and then I like the art style that they're going for with this too. So
yep,
yeah, uh, interesting that this wound up probably being a lot of people's like in the top 5 games for the show. But hey, it looks good. They're doing it. They definitely taken a lot from the Ninja Turtles, what the Ninja
yeah,
Turtles did right.
right.
So good on them. Good on them for that. But I think overall, really, this was another like, if I have to grade it like 6 out of 10 show, it's not. Oh, I didn't get wowed by this show at all. You know,
Right. Yeah.
um,
I agree.
not as kind of. I think Ubisoft was more meh, but this was sort of on the same.
I mean, I would say Ubisoft's
Yeah,
probably like 5. This is like a 6.
yeah.
You know.
But I think I don't know what you're gonna say in the end, but the Xbox event, boy, Phil Spencer did not joke around when because look, they showed Call of Duty at the beginning. We already knew they were doing Call of Duty, right?
Right.
At the end, so showing that trailer for Call of Duty, I was just kind of probably getting the people that are watching at the beginning, like, oh hey, there's a Call of Duty thing at the end. I don't really
Right.
count that as the opener, but man, they wasted no time. Freaking Doom right there. The Dark Ages. He looks freaking sick. Loved that entire thing. Doing the shield bash thing, cutting people with it. Like freaking looked awesome.
That shield thing reminded me of Turok 2 with the Razor Wind. I think that was what it was called in that game.
I think Zombie Captain America also does it or whatever
Yeah.
in the. So it. Man, I just like when that had leaked previously, like right before they were going to do the show. Thankfully, I had not
I
seen
think
it yet.
I think
Yeah,
there were like rumors, but nothing like concrete or nothing like here's the trailer or anything like that.
yeah. Not the full like sort of leak thing, but it did sort of feel they did kind of just say, hey, this is probably what that's going to be. And I'm glad I did not get to see. I didn't watch this live. I watched it like hours later, so I hadn't watched anything
Oh, okay. Yeah.
from it yet, and I was happy I did not, because that was a super exciting moment for me of just getting to see that.
Sure.
And then they did not like they didn't let down for a while after that. It was like bam, 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 big one. I mean, look, I know State of Decay 3 compared to Doom is not the same, but like getting something from State of Decay 3 was really cool. After we hadn't heard anything about the game in a while, and I was happy to see that.
So
Also,
I know you're going to launch into a bunch of good stuff. My big problem with the Xbox uh, conference was they showed a lot of stuff and a lot of it looked good, except for two things. But it's a lot of like non-committal dates or stuff that has been in development for a long ass time, and they're still going like we're not sure when it's coming out. And it's like, yo, dog, Fable's been you've been kicking around Fable for 8 years, and you still don't even have like they're like we're hoping 2025. It's like what? Like what do you mean you're hoping 2025? You should have like a fucking firm set in stone release date of it's coming out May 16th or September 9th or whatever. Like
I'm not too against it because I'd much rather them take their time and make this game and not feel like we got to pigeonhole and make it work and all that stuff.
Work for Crackdown 3.
Okay, well, but come on now. We're gonna compare Crackdown. That's really unfair. I think it's like, look, we have so many problems with having to delay games and stuff. I'd rather them say, look, we're gonna give them the most time possible to get those games out. They already do have games coming in 2024, including this Dragon Age Veilguard game, which I think we went from hearing nothing about this game to they changed the name to Veilguard to they just changed. It felt like they just changed a bunch of what the game people thought the game was going to be, and then it turns out to be kind of this.
And then people wanted, and then in fact people not wanting information about it anymore.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people were not too enthused about this trailer, I guess. Or
that was the other. I mean, it's not obviously EA's, owns BioWare, but that was like the other big miss of the Xbox conference is like this looks legitimately bad.
So why do you say that? Because I'm not a big Dragon Age fan. I kind of was sort of interested.
There's two reasons. Dragon Age, like the first one, even 2 and 3 to a lesser extent, always prided itself on being like not self-serious, but serious enough as a game, a story or like a universe. Like this felt like Guardians of the Galaxy medieval.
Okay.
And no, like if you want to do that, like make another game or make another stupid universe or whatever. But like to have like these like characters that are going to be talking nonstop through the through whatever mission you're on, like quipping, like it looked awful. Like if you go compare like the Dragon Age 1 intro trailer or the announcement trailer to like this thing, it's like what are these even like related at all? Like what the hell?
Yeah. No, definitely. Like, right. When they showed that first Dreadwolf trailer, it's exactly what you said. It felt like, okay, so here's Dragon Age again. It's very serious. We're going into this. And then that comes out, and I was like, well, okay, that's not what I was expecting. I think it's not what a lot of people were expecting. But
it also looked like too colorful. Because like Dragon Age always had kind of a muted aesthetic to it. Like I saw some people complaining like they overwatched it to death, by having like very.
I can see some of the comparison because that's some of the art style.
Yeah, especially like the
like
I don't know the stupid character's names, like the tentacle lady or the veil lady or whatever. It's like
yes,
wow, okay, or like the one guy, the mage killer, who looks like
mage killer.
Yeah, it's like holy.
The dragon hunter or whatever.
Yeah. It's like, please bring back Iron Bull and none of these other characters.
Yeah, I mean, they showed the Starfield DLC.
That was good. I actually thought that was pretty decent. Or, it had like more of a personality than Starfield ever did. So
right, yeah, definitely. That made you kind of interested with that dark, that whole like kind of dark look to everything and kind of mysterious vibe. All that had to it. supposed to be new stuff. So
it was. I mean, it's not Xbox exclusive, but I would say actually the game to me, or like the game of this whole week or whatever, was that Expedition 33 game.
Expedition 33, I was gonna get to that right after that because I mean they did show the new Fallout 76 thing as well, but this was a game I got totally shocked by as well. Just how beautiful it looks. I love the story. Ben Starr is doing the voiceover, by the way.
Pre-order
Shout
canceled.
out to Ben Starr.
Gotta cancel that pre-order.
And
to me, it looks like a next generation version of like a Lost Odyssey.
Yeah, I like also just like them randomly throwing in that it was an RPG because you don't really know it until they show the gameplay part where it's like the whole party's there, and then it has kind of sort of like an action, but turn-based sort of vibe too. So,
well, no, it looks like Lost Odyssey mixed with like Mega Man X command mission because you still had you had like the turn counter in like the upper left-hand corner.
Yeah,
and it was extremely funny. I watched Jeff Gerstmann's stream on that, and he looked that was cool. And then I watched parts of Asmongold, and he was like, I watched that part, and he was like, "Oh, this would be so much better as an action adventure game." And I'm like
no,
there are a million of those. There are a ton of those. Like, look how many JRPGs are coming out that are actually like high quality or high scale. Like, Square's not even making them anymore, or barely. Like, come on.
And for being like a sort of unannounced game and having an interesting concept, like that's what's good. You want those kind of games that your showcases that kind of are kind of go in between the known quantities. So again, I thought this was cool. South of Midnight also looked great in here too. Didn't think it was gonna have a talking catfish or whatever when we saw it the first time, that little teaser that they showed the first time, but I'm down with that. Like kind of sounded like a magical, I guess you play as the girl and she has like sort of magical powers, and then the freaking tree gator or whatever it is. It's like chasing you.
It reminded me of that 360 game, Imagine in the Forsaken Kingdom.
Yeah. I got some Kindred of Spirits vibes as well.
Yeah.
Out of here. Which that's a good game to be following.
Yeah. The other big thing to me, and I don't know if we'll get to it or not, was that Life is Strange double exposure or whatever the fuck it was called.
I thought of you when they showed it. I was like, okay, Square Enix. I thought it was Visions of Mana again at first, and then they started showing like not Visions of Mana characters, and I was like, oh, this is Life is Strange. And then, oh man, okay, they're doing another one. So
it was funny. Well, there's two things about it that struck me kind of funny. One is they better. I don't know if she announced she's back, but they better get that original voice actress back for that character.
Okay.
The other thing, and did you see that like the Square Enix discourse on True Colors, or I think that was that game. Like
yes, the thing where Square Enix didn't want.
Yeah, they thought it was
to be known as a gay game. Yeah,
and it's like, way to go making this one then, where you get very strong gay vibes from it already. And I'm like, yep, way to go.
Well, I mean, like that's the weird thing too. Is just like that whole series has always been like that.
Well, not too, but yeah.
I mean, most of it, and I mean, I guess obviously aside from that little short story with the kid, right. But it's like, I mean, most of this game series has been very beloved by
that crowd,
that community. So like, why are we? I get it that was not supposed to be made public.
Yeah.
But still, like, why would you even say that at all? I get different, obviously different cultures, right? Different feelings on things. We have to put that in perspective as well. But still, it's like, whatever. At least it's another Square Enix thing that was shown on here. The Xbox keeps deepening that relationship with them, so that's good on that end. World of Warcraft got that announcement. I seriously thought that they were going to do the World of Warcraft on Xbox thing because they kept showing parts of the first ever World of Warcraft trailer.
Yeah, it was weird because it's like, oh, it was like a 3 or 4 minute long trailer, and it's like, it's a 3 or 4 minute long trailer of all the old cutscenes from the past 14 years of the game.
Yeah,
like
exactly. I was like, you showed a lot, and they didn't really show a lot of the War Within. Almost everything they showed was old, and then it's like they kind of bled it into, oh, here's I guess some things from the new, and then it's coming out at the end of August. So at least you got a release date for that, which they've been pretty consistent with. Like, haven't they released it around like July, August most of the time? All the expansions.
Yeah, it's usually like late
the most recent ones anyway.
Late summer game, or
Yeah, they also showed the Diablo 4 opening cinematic, and that was thick. Like,
I mean, it's gross, but it told none of the story. I mean, it's barely. It's like, if you don't know who that character is, you're gonna like, what the fuck is this? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely not for sure. One that surprised me, Metal Gear Solid showing up in here. Delta, I thought they would make sure they showed that at a PlayStation thing.
Yeah.
I mean, what'd you think? I thought it showed pretty well for the most
part. It was
part.
good. I thought it was funny that people are complaining about how the boss looks old, and it's like, first of all, the boss is old. Like in that game, I think in that game she's supposed to be like late 40s. So it's like, that
makes sense.
That tracks, or I don't know if they're reusing them or not, like reusing like the actual old dialogue, but like it's nice to hear David Hayter back.
Yeah, no, definitely. You can tell the difference, and it sounds so natural for him to be back doing that. Yeah, it looks good. I'm not a huge Metal Gear Solid person, but good that is there and exists for people, and they shut it off at this thing. So good.
Yeah,
good on Xbox for getting that. For sure. I thought the Flintlock Siege of Dawn game looked good as well. It's probably going to be just like one of those 7s or 8s games, but again, you got to have those kind of things in there.
Right.
And then they showed Perfect Dark. Didn't expect that in here at all. And wow, they just
I think that game. I think what they showed looked really great. I don't think that's any of the game. I think.
Well, that's the gameplay.
We'll see.
They said that it's going to be different parts, right? It's going to have like immersive sim stuff. It's going to have stuff like detective stuff. It's not going to be all just like FPS.
No, that's fine. Like I don't want it to be Call of Duty,
Right.
My problem is it just seemed almost like a VR game, or when trailers tried to snow you in the past, like what's the stupid? It's not Resistance. What's the other one that Sony made with the stupid Hellgas?
Killzone.
Killzone, yeah. It seemed like the Killzone 2 trailer, and it's like, this all looks really great, but this also looks nothing like what you're going to actually do in this game.
Yeah, I mean, there's some Mirror's Edge vibes in here with how she moves around.
Yeah.
Things like that. You can get some of the Crystal Dynamics like vibes. I mean, there's some Tomb Raider in here too. So
I'm sure it'll also kind of be like Metroidvania-esque or whatever, where it's like, oh, on this mission, you unlock this new piece of gear. So if you go back, you can replay old missions with, now you got this rope that you can use to get around easier, or to unlock this door or whatever. Or, you got like this hacker tool that you can unlock different, newer doors or something like that.
Yeah, like I wonder what all the does she have things that happen to her in her mind that she goes back in, and why they have all that stuff where it gets fuzzy for her and stuff. That'd be interesting to find out
I
what
imagine
that is.
that to me looked like it was like a VR mode, or like it was like VR training or something like that. Because I think in
That
that
could be
game,
it.
Carrington's also a good guy. So in the game, they're like, "Oh, Carrington's like has the nuke," and it's like, okay, but I know you work for Carrington, so okay.
That's definitely one of the ones that I was kind of like, okay, they don't have a release date, so maybe they don't want to be pushing people, but good that they were able to get a trailer for it. I mean, considering
Right.
all the bad
Oh,
stuff we've heard with that game. So
right.
they showed Fable. I thought, more they showed bits of gameplay here within it.
I
Like you said, 2025. So
I had two other thoughts about Fable. The first was I couldn't place that British actor at all, and I still can't, for
yeah.
like your hero mentor or whatever. I
Oh, the
it's
guy
someone
that's telling the story.
it's someone I recognize. I just can't place. And the other thing is, looks like he kind of directly references the character being a female or a woman.
Right.
So I was curious, like, are they going to have the old Fable customization option, or is it just going to be like you're playing this girl? Because it kind of looks like you're just playing this girl.
I mean, it does definitely feel like they are making her the main protagonist for sure.
And so that led,
Yeah.
led me to the thought of all the usual YouTube incels losing their mind over this.
Well, I mean, they already
Oh,
do because of how she
yeah,
looks or whatever. The whole that she was one of the ones brought up with the whole Stellar Blade stuff about, oh, she doesn't look anything like the model that they used. The model's much prettier than what they put in the game.
yeah.
Whatever. It's like, yo, it's a game, guys. Come on. Annapurna always has amazing games when they do these, and mixtape. This is the next one from the oh my god, I love that game and now I can't remember it. Um the one where it's like a narrative game and you're playing that guy with the guitar and just jumping through like worlds and stuff. I can't remember the game right now, but it's from that team, and this looks freaking
The,
awesome.
the
Also, the
Artful
soundtrack
Escape.
equally just amazing. Artful Escape, exactly. That's what it is. Um, yeah, this game looks great. I'm excited. It's going to be on Game Pass. Makes me more excited. Ready for this game. Yeah, like this was one of the ones that, again, these like unknowns. This really, I think, delivered, made it help make this showcase fantastic. In that Xbox brought their stuff, and they also brought some really cool other things to this. So yeah,
Yeah.
mixtape was one of the cool ones.
Oh, that Wander Stop game was kind of interesting, also.
Yeah, agreed on that. The Indiana
Uh,
Jones stuff I thought didn't hit as great. It looked kind of slow for the most
yeah.
part. Um,
I mean, it may not just be optimized correctly, but also like who knows? I mean, it's not like Doom, or it's not Wolfenstein, where you're supposed to be like this hugely badass character, like ripping
yeah,
Nazis apart like left and right. I
right,
don't know.
definitely not.
I I guess
They
indie's
also
not for
keep
me.
showing like cutscenes from that game, and it's like, okay, I get it. You're people want to see the Harrison Ford and the voice and all that stuff. Like I get it. You want to, but I mean, I'm gonna be playing the game mostly, so I don't know. I feel like they keep showing snippets of the gameplay, and they want to show you these big, long like cutscene parts, and I'm just like, okay,
I mean, I guess Ford, like all the the Ford stand-in, whatever, it looked fine. I
yeah.
had more of a problem with the bad guy. Like it's just like, okay,
Oh,
it's
the
really,
Russian guy.
yeah, some Russian Nazi, and it's like great, can't wait.
Yeah, Fall looked interesting for what it is. They showed more Avowed, which that looked fine.
I actually thought
Uh,
that Flight Simulator
yeah,
2024 looked really cool.
Yes, the getting to show like the jobs and stuff you can have in that game.
Yeah.
Was really cool. And then the hot air balloon kind of surprise at the end too of that being in there. So they got the license for United. Interesting for that too.
Yeah.
Wonder if there's other like American commercial carriers that are going to be in there, or just them, because they quickly went from United to like Air France and something else. So
Where's
yeah.
the mission to keep the Boeing 757 still in the air? Because
Oh
stop
Jesus
them
Christ,
exploding.
no! Let's not go there. Of course, they had Sarah Bond. Matt Booty came in at the towards the middle to do the Diablo right after
Yeah.
Perfect Dark, and then to do the Diablo intro to kind of give praise to all of the different studios. Sarah Bond came at the end and talked after Stalker 2, which was like the last kind of known game they showed. Then they kind of showed off there's now going to be a 2 terabyte Xbox
Series
a
X.
2 terabyte Xbox Series X, and then series like 1 terabyte Series S, and
And a 1 terabyte Series X.
yeah, well, it's that already
Sans disk,
existed. Yeah,
sans disk drive.
yeah, sans disk drive exactly. Which okay, I guess is that going to be cheaper? They didn't really list prices or anything. The thing I think people were hoping we would see, which Phil Spencer was on an IGN live that they did like not too long after this, and he hinted at again, sort of hinted at there might be a portable, but he didn't. The only thing he confirmed was that if they did do a portable, they wanted to have local play. It's not going to be cloud based or whatever like some of the other ones have been.
Yeah.
And they kind of left it at read between the lines to whatever you think that means. Um, then the last game was not Gears 6. It was
Even
Gears
funnier.
Emergence Day.
Yeah.
And interesting. They just basically going backwards and doing like a prequel for Gears. So you can do young Marcus and young Dom here that they showed off. And yeah, man, I love Gears. I'm excited for this. I'm happy that they're doing this. We got the reveal. So
It
yeah.
was. I mean, they also said that, the Gears 4 and 5 storyline will continue, or we're still working on it. It's like this is kind of a tacit admission that you're not, or that storyline has failed. Like,
No, I think what they're trying to do is like let this version of the coalition, which is not the same version of the coalition or the Gears team, because that was all Cliffy B and all that stuff. The original like Gears, like especially
yeah,
1, 2, 3. So like let this version of the team that makes Gears kind of do their own spin on Marcus and Dom and all of that early Gears stuff, and then kind of continue. Like it's been a while for Gears, right? So like let people know where if you bring back the old characters, let people know where the kind of the whole thing stands before you just dive into Gears 6. I think it lets people kind of refresh on Gears. I don't know if they're finally going to do that Gears collection, remaster collection that they keep rumoring is happening. Because that's been a rumor for a long time that it wasn't supposed to just be Gears 1. It was supposed to be all of it, just like Halo. They
right.
just didn't do it for whatever reason. So, yeah. I don't know. I think it's a good idea to
I mean, I
have.
think it's a fine enough idea, but like I said, I think it's just kind of a. I mean, they're not going to come out and say it, but I think it's an admission that no one cared about little Marcus and the girl and the other guy. Like, we tried, but people like what they like. So now we're
Yeah.
gonna mine. Now we're gonna mine Marcus and Don to death.
You aren't wrong there in a sense of why not go with what you know,
Yeah.
and then also let people kind of that haven't played Gears in a while, that know nothing about Gears 4 and 5 or whatever, kind of get back into it and go from there. Yeah, that's it for the Xbox thing. I thought they had the best showcase of the entire weekend. Not that they had a lot of competition, to be honest, but it was probably one of the best Xbox showcases they've had in a long time. Just from last year's was really good too, but like they showed a lot of what people actually wanted to know about, and they still have some stuff like left that let's see, right? But I mean, almost all the only big franchise that aside from the obvious Halo, because they're pretty much just doing Halo Infinite right now, is like, okay, maybe we're not doing Forza Horizon quickly right after Forza Motorsport, so we don't have a Forza thing. But everything else was pretty much there, you know. Starfield, Fallout 76, all the Bethesda stuff, Doom, you know, Fable, all that was there. Gears, everything.
Except for Silksong, which is the one that should have fucking been there.
Right, like that's so weird. Like, it's kind of just weird that Silksong still hasn't made the appearance yet, right? Like we thought Silksong would, if it's going to show up in anything because it's supposed to be in Game Pass, it would have been here because everything they showed in this thing. I don't remember if they said that the Metal Gear Solid Delta was, but everything else, it says play it on Game Pass or Day One Game Pass or whatever. So they really made a big deal about that too. I think they also needed to, again, because of the whole people have been talking so much. We've talked about it. Everybody's talked about it, about how, you know, Game Pass is not doing what it needs to, kind of thing. And Phil talked about that on the IGN Live as well, about how he doesn't look at subscription numbers anymore with it. He's just looking how long people play. I don't know how long that actually lasts. Like, assuming Game Pass has to, you know, get subscribers, or they're gonna have an issue at some point.
Well, now his bonus is no longer tied to subscriber count, so he's good.
Yeah, probably. A lot of people's bonuses are probably not tied to subscriber counts anymore. The last thing that I really watched, because I think I only watched like the first 20 minutes of that feature game show, was The Day of the Devs, which aired right after Summer Game Fest. Shout out to the Battle Vision Network game from just them, the Capybara guys, just taking Might and Magic Clash of Heroes, which is one of my favorite games ever, and they're just saying, we're going to take this game and we're going to somehow make it even more deep and better. And I was down with that.
that Clash of Heroes, and they remade it, or they put out like a remastered version of it, and it was like not good, which is very unfortunate.
I still play the original like 360 version.
It's always funny to me like that companies like remake or remaster their games and they fuck it up constantly. It's like, it shouldn't be that hard.
I don't know why that one was so difficult to do. It was very simple gameplay.
I think that it had some like balancing issues initially, so they tried to like rebalance it, but it's like people obviously like those issues, so should have just kept it, you know, make it better,
just keep it that way.
Yeah.
What they seemed to add on this one was that now you're not just gonna, it's not about like clearing the whole field or whatever. It's about, there's also like offensive and defensive guards that you can make also. So you kind of have to like be on your toes, because you can wind up actually reversing the field and giving them a win instead. So it's cool. I'm glad that they did that and they changed it a bit on that. Another one for me that looked cool was the Karma Dark World game, which is like, it's a studio in China that made it, and it's like a first-person narrative game. You play as a guy that's in like a dystopian like 1984, and it just kind of looks like really awesome. So a lot of psychological horror stuff in there, so always down for that kind of stuff. The first game they showed off from the Bloomhouse people, I think. Am I wrong? I don't remember which one it was now. But another game that they showed off that I liked, well, it was actually, it's a group of games. So the people that made Spelunky 1 and 2, the Mossmouth people, they made like this UFO 50 game that has like 50 different games in it. Some are bigger, some are smaller. It's actually coming out this year on Steam, September 18th. And it's just really neat that they're doing something like that. So you don't have to like subscribe to this whole big thing. They're just making it themselves. So I thought that was neat that we're doing that. So shout out to them as well for doing that. And another one that I thought was cool because it looks like a game, like they took Pokemon or sort of Game Boy version of Pokemon and made this game where you're like this boy with a motorcycle and he has his dog with him called Pedal Runner. It looks cool. This is that UFO 50 stuff also that they showed in there. But yeah, man, they had some decent thing. And what's interesting too, they don't really repeat a lot on the day of the devs. They show different games every time, other than like a Ranger, which has been shown several times different places. But a lot of times they really do try to showcase different games. So give a lot of credit for that.
They're probably not charging $250,000 for a minute of airtime.
Oh no, definitely not. They're definitely not doing that. Glad to hear more about After Love EP. Also because of what happened to the creator of that game, unfortunately, passing away. Glad that game's still going. It was one that I was excited about when I first saw it on like a Nintendo years ago. So yeah, man. There's a lot of good games. Agree. I'm sure there was some cool games on some of the other ones as well. I just didn't have time to watch all that. It's a lot.
Right.
Anything else you wanted to talk about? Or all right. Did you play anything or?
Yeah, Mario 64.
Hey, you know what? Always good to go back to Mario 64.
And I tried to get. I bought like 7 N64 games from a dude on Facebook Marketplace.
How did that go? Did you actually get them?
Yeah. I mean, he put the ad up and he got like slammed almost immediately because he was offering up. I got Mario 64, Wave Race 64.
Oh.
F-Zero X. What else? Damn it! Sorry. Blast Corps, 1080 Snowboarding, Army Men's Sarge's Heroes 2, and Rampage World Tour for $40.
Hey. So, yeah, not bad at all for like the price of one of those games.
Well, like Mario and Wave Race and F-Zero each like $30 each, like eBay pricing or whatever. So
yeah,
Blast Corps and Rampage have like some weird damage to them. He said he like spilled solvent on them or like some weird chemical. So
okay,
they're a little funky. Rampage, like they just have like kind of shell damage, but like Blast Corps like wasn't working correctly. I don't know, like if the game is just dirty. Like nothing got inside of it, I don't think, but it's just like dirt or something. But everything else is fine.
Well, that's good.
Yep.
At least all that worked.
And they added some new characters to Grand Blue Fantasy Reeling, so I gotta go grind for them.
Is that a lot of characters, or just like a few? Or?
I think they just added the main boss, or like the super overpowered character, which I'm sure is going to be neuter to fuck once you unlock them.
Oh, okay. Well, looking at just to go ahead and end this thing here, the upcoming games for this week. So we do the show next time. V Rising is coming to PlayStation tomorrow, So if you've been waiting to play V Rising on your PS5, you can
Right.
do so there tomorrow. That Monster Hunter Stories remaster, it's coming to Switch and PS4 and PC, and also that Monster Hunter Stories 2 Wings of Ruin that's been out on the Switch but not coming out on PS4. So you can pick both of those up if you're big on Monster Hunter Stories. And then that Shin Megami Tensei Vengeance, 5 Vengeance is coming this week. Are
Yeah,
you
I
picking
just
that
asked
up?
Adam. I
Oh,
asked
okay.
Adam for a code. We'll see. I'd like to. I really want it on PS5 because it'll run damn straight better than
Yeah, way
this whole
better than the Switch version.
I don't think
Yeah.
you talked about it, but they added like free DLC into that Astrobot thing.
Oh, they did.
Yeah,
Okay.
new
I'm gonna have to go check it.
trophies and I think not a new world, but like new objectives or new missions.
Okay. Interesting. They just
Yeah.
decided to add that in there.
Well, they added it because of the announced Astrobot game. Like they're tying it into that
Okay.
now. So like here, you can do these missions and also pre-order the game.
Yeah, like go for it. And then also Talos Principle 2 coming out as well on console and PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. Yeah, some good games coming. Like you said, you're excited for Shin Megami Tensei, so.
Yep.
And then next week, we know everybody's just waiting on that Shadow of the Earth tree. So.
Yep.
Well, we'll talk about that then. Until then, everybody, hopefully if you enjoyed what you watched, or first time listening or watching, we do this show on Mondays live around this time, usually around like 5-ish o'clock, but we'll be there around that time. And then you can always subscribe and get us on demand later on the YouTube, on Twitch, or wherever it is you like to subscribe, or just on podcasts as well. Until then, folks, enjoy your games. See you later.
Later.